Hello. God almighty. I am exhausted. Yeah. Let's go. Let's hang out. Hello. Hi. The human body was not meant to play video games 3 days straight for more than 5 hours per day. It wasn't. It wasn't built for that. It was built for eating fruit and chilling and walking. I could go for some fruit. I could go for a lot. I could go for a lot of things. How's everybody doing? I just realized something, which is why I stopped short and was just thinking for a second. Why did Akane and Zero Senior replace Sigma's motherfucking arms with cybernetic arms? What purpose did that serve? Was it just so that he could get his arm cut off by the door? No, because You could get your arm cut off by the door if you are not a robot either. Ugh, criminy. Okay. It's time for us to get started on motherfucking Zero Escape, in which there is no escape. All right. I've got 3 trophies left. One of them is... No, I've got 4 trophies left. One of them is get all trophies. The other 3 are mysteries to me. I don't know them yet. Give me just a second. I need to check some stuff. Firstly... Yeah, even though I don't like the thumbs on this one's still better than the, it's fine. Okay. I'm just testing some stuff out with my hand tracking stuff. Couple of changes that I can make that I have made in certain other models. Just a little bit funky still. All right. Zero Escape. Bam, bam, ba-dam, ba-dam, dun, 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 da, dun, da, da. Okie doke. Why do people betray each other? If you can't trust anyone, then everyone should die! Oh, that's brothers. Welcome to my kingdom. Hello, Zero. Where is this place? Why did I know that? Rhizome 9. The number 9 door. Will you choose to after or choose to before? Okay. Now, this will take us to the flow. We've got 30 hours in this fucking video game. All right. It's December 25th, 2028. We're in our car. There's burning crosses. We're in our car. It's raining. We're in our car. We're on the base. And then Zero's here. Yeah. Yeah? Oh! I swear to God, I thought the new destination was going to be here. The new destination is here. Even further in the past. Hi, Vanilla. Thank you for the Chinks attack. AB room past. Huh? Ah. Ow. Ow, 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 ow. Damn it. Feels like my head's gonna explode. Wait. Where the hell am I? Looks like an elevator,
No,
but...
this is one of the AB rooms.
I had a feeling this was gonna be... This would be before the normal start. I didn't think the destination would be... here. I thought it would be that Akane's waiting for us in another timeline would mean that there's another branch where she just wasn't murdered. Gah! Who the hell are you? And what the hell's an AB room?
Damn. I guess you did lose your memory after all.
Memory? Memory. Memento Mori. Oh, come on, Sigma. You can do it. You can do it, Sigma. I remember. You're Phi. She grinned. When is this?
Check your bracelet.
It's a red pair. BP is 3.
Mine's the same.
With the way Akane was talking, saying you can pick a new destination, it seemed possible. It's fair. Good assumption. Good instinct, Anya. Does this mean this is the beginning of the game? We've gone back to when we first woke up in the AB room?
No, not quite. I think we woke up a little earlier this time.
How do you know?
Push the buttons on the side of your bracelet.
2 hours, 15 minutes.
We didn't wake up this long before the primary doors opened last time. I think we're about an hour early.
Wait a minute. If you're right.
Yeah, Akane might still be alive. We got back before Dio killed her, I think.
Then...
Right. We're here for one reason.
Save Akane. To stop her from getting killed.
Exact.
Let's move. We need to get out of here fast.
Don't need to tell me twice. Let's go.
Well, I mean, we know the answer to a lot of these issues, though. So, like, you know. Oh, the password to the safe is just the same. So, let me just try Sun, Star, Moon. Ah, wah, wah, wah. Okay, I opened it. That's the wrong password. We need the other one to get the key. Star, Moon, Sun. We have traveled back in time further into the past. There, it's open. Good work. Hurry and grab the cracker. Cracker? Ah, damn, I meant key. How the hell? Shut up and do it. Good job, you made Phi mad. It's easy. No need to yell. Alright. Ready, Phi? What do you think? I know. I don't need to ask every time, right? And why the hell are you asking? Hurry up and... Right. I'm going. 10, 9, 8, 1, done. Yeah, I don't know. She's a little quirky. Hey, you pushed the button. Bite me. You were taking too long. We're on a schedule here. Yippee! All right, jump. Head out. Akane! He is moving quickly and quietly, knife glinting in his right hand. Shit. There's no time to yell to her. I scrambled down from the top of the AB room. Phi wasn't following me. She was still standing on the roof. Phi! What the hell are you doing? Get down here and... Before I finished, she moved. She launched herself into the air Yo! Yo! Drop kick that motherfucker! Yeah! What the?
He's fine. Just unconscious.
I bent down and held my fingers in front of his mouth. He was still breathing.
I don't think he saw me. He probably has no idea what happened to him.
Guy went down like a sack of potatoes.
He had it coming.
Heard footsteps come to a stop right in front of us. Dio gets owned again. I looked up. Hello, Miss Kurashiki.
So you came. I've been waiting for you. You're here to hear the rest, right?
Wait a minute. What the hell is your deal? How can you be so calm? If we hadn't shown up just now, you'd...
Have been stabbed in the heart by this young man and died. Yes. Although, that reminds me, I haven't thanked you yet. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate you saving me.
You knew we were going to, though. What?
Hold on. How do you know about being stabbed by Dio? Are you an Esper too?
Yes, indeed I am.
If she is an Esper, that would explain why Clover's... I mean, she is an Esper. But does that explain why Clover's Esper abilities aren't working? I mean, it's because we're in the future, but...
I am able to jump through time, just like you.
Then what the hell were you thinking? If you knew he was gonna stab you, why were you gonna let him do it?
Because I had to.
You what?
Think back. Why are you here? If I hadn't been killed by Dio, no one else would have been murdered. Consequently, your own abilities would never have manifested. I did explain, didn't I? The purpose of the AB project was to send the two of you to the past. Or your minds, at least. In order for that to happen, some death was necessary.
Damn.
When a human brain is faced with danger, its processing speed increases.
Is that a way to counteract the effects of Radical 6? Is to put somebody in danger and make their processing speed increase? To counteract the fact that they reduce your processing speed?
Information is processed more quickly, and time almost seems to slow. A few seconds can feel like an eternity. Unfortunately, that in itself isn't enough to send oneself through time.
Yeah?
The amplitude of the consciousness is simply too small. In order to increase the amplitude, we need to slow down the brain before the increase happens.
Well, she does know that her theories do kind of work, because she can send her mind back in time and back forward and through Sigma and everything. I mean, through, Junpei. We need to slow down the brain before the increase happens. So, you get Radical 6, then you be in danger.
It's a little like a slingshot. You pull back on the rubber band and then let go. The potential energy you stored in the band is released and converted into kinetic energy.
Oh my god, Akane.
That's what fires the bullet out of the slingshot. Now, while a slingshot can only fire in one direction, your mind isn't similarly limited.
Uh-huh, yeah?
When the bullet of your consciousness is fired from the slingshot of your brain,
Oh my god.
it travels past the three-dimensional world
Oh my
and into the
God.
four-dimensional
Oh
one.
my god. Oh, you know what? That reminds me. Speaking of four-dimensional, bullshit. We should go read the, these. Because a couple of them are important here, like Minkowski space, a way of describing reality that adds a fourth dimension of time to the three-dimensional space. It was described by German mathematician Hermann Minkowski, so it bears his name. It's also the name of a ski resort for miniature cows, Minkowski. Lagomorph. Ah, the order to which rabbits belong, and it's 0 to the third's actual name, Lagomorph. Tenmyoji and Alice. Tenmyoji told Alice there was something he had to tell her. That something was, of course, his identity, and that he had already knew all about Alice and Ice 9, and not because he'd heard it about it from Clover. He heard it about it from 7. Okay. After the second round of the AB game, after going through the purple and green doors, Clover, as a solo, was heard to say the following to Tenmyoji, her opponent. What the heck did you mean with all that? It's not fair. If you're telling the truth, then... So what had Tenmyoji said to her? The same thing he'd meant to say to Alice, of course. He told her who he was. That simple fact shook Clover's resolve and made her vote ally. It probably hadn't been his original intention to betray her, but after thinking about Quark's safety, he probably felt he had no choice and picked betray. Damn. AB project, after and before, but they can also stand for anima and body? No! No! Stop making more! Stop making them be more, please! The mystery of Phi. Who was Phi? There are a few clues scattered throughout the story, but nothing conclusive. Perhaps the truth will be revealed at the Nevada test site. Here's a little something more about the bomb deactivation passwords. Those passwords, they aren't just gibberish. There's something hidden in each one. I can only give you one hint, +1. Good luck. There's a lot more to the story, but I think we'll stop the secret archives here. Thank you for playing, and we hope you enjoyed the game. I didn't. Fuck you. +1. So C, R, A, Q, R, S, G, H, I, A, B, C, D, E, X, Y, A, B, C, D, E, A, B, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Y, Q, R, Q, R, S. Okay, so crash. Crashy S? But only the bomb deactivation codes. So not the, these ones. L, M, X, Y, A, B, Q, R, L, M, N, O, S, T, G, H, D, E, Q, R. My brother. J to K, H, I, J, K. Crash keys. Oh, you're right. M, my, Q, R, L, M, H, I. Myrmidon, right? Myrmidons. E, F, Q, R, D, E. Free. X, Y, Z. R, S. L, M, N, O. T, U. H, I, J, K, L. Free the soul. Which I imagine, so, Zero Bomb, my brother, crash keys, freeze the soul, Myrmidons. Free the soul, but French. It's also Japanese. In Japanese, if you wanted to say the, you would say za. Zawarudo, for example. That's my interpretation of it, at least. But crash keys. Crash keys. That's interesting. What does crash keys mean? Frieza Soul, Myrmidons, that makes sense. My brother makes sense, but crash keys? Crash keys is, like, fucked. That's weird. Unfortunately, Milkelvoli doesn't have any of the letters that turn into vowels, like L, or L is just M, but like N, D, all the vowels are already here. And this is Luna's number. This is Luna's ID number, so it doesn't really mean anything. And Jumpy Doll is not going to do anything. So, crash keys. Huh. Anyways.
From that perspective, time is no longer fixed. In other words, you can travel to the future, the past, whenever you like. Your consciousness has been released from the three-dimensional cage.
And?
In order for that to happen, I had to infect you with Radical 6.
Whoa, what?
We're infected with Radical 6?
Yes. Don't you remember, Sigma? Luna should have told you about it in another timeline.
Are infecting all of these people with such a horrible disease?
All of these
Every
people.
single one of you has been infected. Well, apart from Luna, of course. Unfortunately, it was necessary.
Does Fi know that Luna's a robot? Does she still remember that timeline?
We needed to slow your minds in order to store up your potential energy. Then we provided a dire situation that would accelerate your processing speed. The result is what you are now experiencing. Your consciousness now occupies four-dimensional space-time.
Cool, great.
Even that, however, wasn't enough. You had the ability to travel, but your memories could easily be lost during the trip.
They could,
If
and
the
were.
project was to succeed, you had to be able to retain everything you learned in each reality. That was the reason you were forced to jump so many times.
And boy, were we.
With each jump, your ability to remember improved.
It did.
Eventually, you would be able to retain everything. That is why we made you play the A-B game. That was why you had to select different chromatic doors. By forcing specific choices, we could cause you to make more jumps.
And the quantum doors passed the second set of chromatic doors. I get it. I think I finally understand. Well, okay, there are a lot of things I don't understand, but all of what you said just told me makes some sense. You did all of this so that Fi and I could jump through four-dimensional space with our memories intact.
Yes.
Right? But why did you need us to do that? People have died for this. I mean, let's count how many different ways people died. Murder, antimatter explosion, suicide. I've died, so has Fi, so have you. So why would you do all this? What does it matter that Fi and I jump through time?
Haven't I told you? Death was unavoidable. You are all destined to die.
Damn it, come on.
Sacrifices had to be made for the sake of the project.
I already know all that. What I'm asking you is why? What is so goddamn important that it's worth all this?
Ah, I'm sure you'll figure it out.
God damn it, tell me now!
What? Just when is eventually?
In a future not very far from now.
Bullshit! That's not good enough. Why can't you tell us now? Akane knelt down next to Dio and picked his knife up off the floor.
I'm going to keep this with me.
Don't change the subject.
But it's almost time.
What are you talking about? We've got plenty of time.
No. In a few moments, you'll return to the original timeline.
Huh? What?
This is the way it has to be. Don't fight it. Logomorph.
Yes. Logomorph?
You call him Zero Jr. His official designation is Logomorph. Logomorph, this is an order. Unlock my bracelet.
Compliance.
Compliance.
Now, everything is in place. I have put the bracelet onto Dio. All we have to do is place his body in the 5th AB room, the second one from the right.
That's the one Quark is in, right?
Correct. correct. I will move him. I will also put your bodies back into the third AB room. Once that's done, I will reset its puzzle to an unsolved state.
And I'll also put the gold file back in there. Why do you need to do all that?
To recreate the history that you remember. Your consciousness is about to leave your body and return to the future. Your body will be emptied, and your other consciousness will jump back in. If your bodies aren't back in the third AB room by then, it would be bad.
So you're saying some version of us is going to wake up in that room and repeat the same history again? Well, I guess this could actually be our second or third time.
It's like our 18th
You
time.
are exactly correct. Lastly, I'm going to leave this with you.
Uh-huh, this. A rusty old key. Have we seen a key like this? A keyhole that this would go to?
I'll tie it onto your ankle so that
Okay. What's it say on there?
tu fui ego eris.
Oh.
It's Latin. It means, what you are, I was. What I am,
Oh,
you
the
will
grave!
be.
The grave in the botanical garden!
Yes,
What am I supposed to do with it?
it will help you meet someone who's very important.
Is that where the other Zero Senior is?
Go. Return to the future.
Return to the past now. Good little girl, yeah. Da, 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 da.
You won't be alone. I will be at your side, watching over you. Now hurry.
Wait, I still... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No! To be continued? Yeah, okay, sure. A new destination has been added to the flowchart? Wow, that's crazy. Oh, I ran out of save slots. I'm getting more confused as time goes on. Yeah. Aha. Yeah, this... Oh, look at this jump. This is just a complete... This is a complete jump. Interesting. AB game round 3 ally. So this is us.
Oh, looks like you're awake.
We picked ally. Which means Phi betrayed us.
Why are we here?
Do you know what happened at the AB gate?
Kay and I went back to the infirmary, but...
We waited and waited, and the two of you never returned.
So we went to the warehouse to check on you.
Okay, so we just passed out because we did a big jump. We passed out, we did a big jump, and now we're in this timeline.
We found you passed out in front of the AB rooms.
Kay and I hurried back here with you.
Looked over at Phi and met her eyes. You remember what happened just now?
You mean what happened a long time ago?
Yeah, you got him pretty good, huh?
Yeah, I remember all right.
Drop kick.
Hey, what are you guys talking about?
Hey,
What
Quark.
am I? Top liver?
Alice.
Back among the conscious and not psychotic, huh?
Yeah, thanks. Grandpa told me what you did. Thanks for finding the medicine for us.
No problem, all in a day's work. Although I wouldn't mind a little swimsuit action.
Really grabbing at straws here, aren't you?
Yes. Hey, I wasn't talking to Quark. That was an offer for Alice.
Not really my point.
Oh, whatever. Forget about that. Now that you guys are awake, all we gotta do is open the number 9 door.
Huh?
What are you talking about?
Look at your bracelet.
Everyone has... It says 10. I have 10 BP.
I've got 15 BP. That means I got 6 more points while I was out.
But how?
We've played the AB game 3 times.
Damn. 3 times?
Yes, of course, the color and group assignments were shuffled around each time.
That line from Sigma proves he remembers everything. It's true, everything. The swimsuit line is truly important.
But no matter who voted, everyone chose Ally.
Well, it's because it doesn't matter anymore, does it? There's no more threat. Dio's,
And now all of us have enough to leave.
Sweet. I was stunned. How had everyone cooperated long enough to raise all of our BP past 9? Was it because Akane hadn't been killed? Without a death to start things off, maybe we'd been less suspicious of one another. Or could the bombs have had something to do with it? We'd all joined forces against Dio, and Fi and I had been able to disarm all of them. All of us had banded together against a common enemy and overcome a tremendous threat, perhaps that had strengthened our bond. Even Dio can leave, which I had to admit would be somewhat ironic. After all, Dio had planted the bombs that forced us all to work together against him. This must have been what Akane was talking about.
Haven't I told you death was unavoidable? Sacrifices.
Come on, let's go! Let's open the door and get out of here!
Wait. What about him? We decided to leave Dio behind. Alice was the only holdout. She'd complained about wanting to take him back to her superiors, but after I mentioned they'd come back to investigate after we escaped and deal with Dio then, she reluctantly complied.
All right, let's get going.
But the botanical garden. Does he not remember that? He'd better. What if Akane's just here and she's just like, are you seriously gonna leave? Dude, the key, ankle, bracelet, go. Everybody ready? I'm gonna open it.
Yes.
Why? Seriously? Stupid ass Sigma. Stupid ass.
The number 9 door has been opened. It will
Alright, everybody, let's move. I didn't need to tell them twice. The room inside was clearly a loading elevator. It looked like a large plate on top of a huge pedestal. We turned around. Number 9 door stood wide
2,
open.
1, 0. The number.
Okay.
The number this. Thank you. As the game.
All right, what's the trick here? What's the trick? Everyone is all fuck Dio. It's true. Fuck Dio. Wait a minute. No, it's fine. Is it fine? Okay. So.
Looks like we did it.
So. Is it okay to leave Dio down there? Because if Dio still has the detonator, could he not re-detonate the bombs? In which case he could blow up everything within 100 kilometers?
Yes, we should keep moving.
Alright, the real PEC. The pressure exchange chamber.
You know what this place is?
Yeah, sort of. This whole facility is pressurized, apparently. I think the idea is to keep the air outside and consequently the virus from getting inside. That means if we want to go out, we have to decompress so we match the outside air pressure. This room here is where you prepare. See all these suits along the wall? Put those on and head
Whoa!
downstairs.
Hold on a minute. You're saying the air outside is full of that horrible virus?
He practically dared... if they left him handcuffed, that might stop him, and he practically dared them to smash the detonator after it was used. They did, but... He did dare them, but did they destroy the detonator? Yeah, that's what it seems like. Of course, according to Akane, we were all already infected with Radical 6, so the whole room seemed a little pointless.
Why? How did all this happen?
Did they?
No. That's not possible.
We've come this far. We can't turn back now. Let's go outside. There's no way to know what's really going on until we do.
All right.
No one else objected. We all donned the protective suits and went to the decompression room. Can Kay put a hazmat suit over his armor? I think so. The dead, bleak landscape wasn't a surprise for me. I'd seen it before in another timeline. The others hadn't, however, and although I couldn't see their faces through the visors of their helmets, I heard more than a few gasps over the radio. For a few long moments, we just stood there, astonished.
Where the hell are we?
The desert, I guess?
I figured that out. I mean, which one?
I don't know, but I think I know what day it is. Look at the moon. It's red, right? That means today's the total lunar eclipse.
So?
Remember these? Well, the next eclipse like this was gonna be on December 31st, 2028. So...
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. Are you suggesting we were sleeping for a week after we were abducted?
Yeah, 1 week. 1 single week. Alice and Clover both know that Tenmyoji is Junpei.
I think so.
Wherever we were must have been far away from any city. The air was clear, and the stars, the sky was full of them. I could even spot the hazy arm of the Milky Way. The most striking feature was the moon. It was blood red and massive, much bigger in fact than I remembered it being. A black spot began to move across its surface. It was hard to see the details, but it looked circular. The spot continued to move across the room, heading for the right edge. What's that?
The moon. Well, the moon's shadow, actually.
The moon's shadow? I frowned. That didn't make any sense.
Zero told me to stay quiet. I think he was worried I'd spill the beans on his operation. He said if I didn't toe the line, he wouldn't just kill me. He'd kill Quark, too.
Finally, we get to know that we're on the moon. Finally. We are on the moon. This is the Earth or Mars. It's either the Earth or Mars, and this is actually a solar eclipse.
And I agreed, like an idiot, and brought Quark with me. Just so I could see her.
Akane!
Such an idiot. So, that being the case, might as well start with this. I meant what I said before. That up there is the moon's shadow.
What the hell are you saying?
Think about it. If that's the moon's shadow, then what's it falling on?
That's Earth?
Yeah. It's not the red moon you get from a lunar eclipse. And again, this isn't a lunar eclipse. It's a solar eclipse.
I can't believe this.
Anybody in the black spot down there is looking up at the moon, covering the sun.
What? No way! That's the Earth, and where the hell are we?
The moon, of course. This is the lunar surface. We were just inside a moon base.
I can't believe this.
No way. No. You've gotta be lying. How do you expect us to believe that? This can't be the moon.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. Besides, if this was the moon, how do you explain the gravity? The moon only has 1/6 of the Earth's gravity, so what's this?
She picked up a rock and dropped it.
See? That looked perfectly normal.
Yes, it looked that way.
Because we're all infected with Radical 6! Our processing speed has been slowed down!
You were right about the gravity in a way. I was one of the people who knew this wasn't Earth. Well, I suppose I'm not people, to be honest, but...
Excuse me? What?
Please just listen. Alice, you were infected with Radical 6. Then we gave you the Excelavir, which cured you. The Radical 6 isn't completely gone, though. Some of its symptoms stick around for a while.
What symptoms?
Well, Radical 6 can slow down your brain's processing speed by the root of 1/6.
The root of 1/6.
It can take a while for your brain to get back up to speed.
Everyone has had a massive headache and felt floaty.
Every one of us has been infected. In other words, all of our brains have been processing information at a much lower speed. If you evaluated the root of 1/6, that means our brains are running at something slightly less than half speed. As you said before, the moon's gravity is about 1/6 that of Earth's. The time that it takes for an object to fall is inversely proportional to the square root of the gravitational acceleration. Since the gravity is lower on the moon, that means the time increases. I guess that's a little technical. Let me give you an example. Say you drop an apple from a height of
I
4.9
can't believe
meters.
this.
It will take approximately 1 second to hit the ground. On the moon, however, that time would be 1 second times root 6, which would be approximately 2.45 seconds. I used 4.9 meters because it matches up with the acceleration of gravity nicely, but it could be anything. The gravity constant is you could drop something from 10 centimeters. Does that make sense? So now we've established that on the moon, things fall root 6 times slower than they do on Earth. That being the case, what would happen if someone's brain slowed down by root 1/6? To them, 2.45 seconds would feel like 1 second. But it's not hypothetical. That's what's been happening to every one of us.
Well, every one of you.
Wait, you're saying that's the reason we didn't notice the weaker gravity? Are you sure you didn't notice anything?
Phi's ability to jump.
Back. Huh? You and Sigma and Phi about how you felt weird?
It's kind of like my body isn't really mine. I'm sort of floating.
Yep. What Luna said made sense. It explained Phi's apparently superhuman strength quite well. She jumped so good. She jumped so good. She jumped so good! Yeah!
Wait, this is crazy. That can't possibly be Earth out there. Look at it. I've seen photos of Earth, and it's blue and green and beautiful. That thing is just red.
Before we get into that, I should probably tell you something. This isn't New Year's Eve in 2028.
Finally, Tenmyoji. How convenient the gravity constant matches up so perfectly with the effects of the virus. Yeah, how about that? It's almost like they were like, the moon's gravity is 1/6 of the Earth, you say? 6 is kind of like a 9. Interesting. What's the time difference that it would need in order to root 6, you say? Ooh, we'll call the virus a radical 6.
Today is January 27th.
And 29?
Don't tell me. 30?
Still no.
And just what year is this?
It's 74. 2074.
God damn it! No, that's insane. That would mean we were abducted more than 45 years ago.
I don't blame you if you don't believe me, but it's the truth.
How can you be sure?
It's not that hard. Quark and I left Earth on January 23rd, 2074. Solar eclipses are easy to predict. We've known that there'd be one on the 27th for a long time. That's just science. Nobody can change that.
But why is the Earth red?
That's a long story. About 45 years ago, on April 13th, 2029, there were 18 annihilation reactors operating in various parts of the world.
You're telling me that on Homestuck Day, all of the antimatter reactors on Earth exploded?
On the 13th, all 18 of them went up. All at the same time.
Has Kotaro Uchikoshi read Homestuck? I can't handle this.
The explosion was about 180,000 times as powerful as the atom bomb they dropped on Hiroshima.
I can't believe this.
I suppose it started a few months before that. The government had a test site for a future Mars mission out in the middle of Nevada.
Oh.
On December 31st, 2028, there was an accident. Well, accident doesn't quite convey the right sense of the thing. The point is, Radical 6 claimed its first victims there, then escaped. Didn't take long for it to spread to the rest of the world. Like Luna explained, the virus slows your brain down, but eventually, it also makes you kill yourself. Pretty soon, the bodies started to pile up.
Oh. Finally, we get to see what this actually means. And it's unfortunately, everyone has killed themselves.
Some people would take a dive off a building or shoot themselves in the head. You know, the classics.
The classics.
But for some, it was poison, or fire, or asphyxiation, or the noose.
Okay, Tenmyoji, the noose is also a classic.
Plenty of people jumped in front of trains or cars. One pilot on a passenger airline drove his plane into the ground. Most forms of transportation ground to a halt pretty fast.
Yeah, if you can't trust your bus driver to not commit suicide, you don't get on a bus.
That meant food couldn't get distributed. And thousands of people who weren't even infected died from starvation.
Ugh.
Everywhere you went, there were just piles of corpses, covered in flies and rats and crows. I don't know what hell's like, but I imagine it's a lot like that. After a while, people who managed to avoid getting infected started trying to get in touch with one another. They got a hold of some radios and organized a couple meetings. There was only one thing to discuss, of course. How could they get rid of Radical 6? The answer, they decided, was purification. They figured they could just roast the surface of the Earth and that'd kill the virus off for good. On April 13th in 2029, they put their plan into effect.
Damn.
That plan was to detonate all 18 annihilation reactors.
They went.
The truth is, that's mostly just rumor. Nobody really knows what happened.
That's just scorched earth in its entirety.
But I've got my own theories. I think that the bombers had already been infected, and when they died, they took billions with them. The ultimate if I die, you're coming with me gesture, I suppose. I'd bet you money they'd all lost it long before they got to the reactors. Killing most of the world, no matter how bad things had gotten, was not a sane plan.
Correct.
Even if it wasn't directly responsible. Radical 6 killed most of the people on Earth. Anyway, why it happened isn't that important. Point is, it happened.
Nah.
Ever heard of nuclear winter? Well, that's basically what we got.
Yep.
The explosion threw a ton of crap up into the stratosphere, where it joined up with smoke and ash from all the fires. It blotted out the sun for 7 years.
Ooh. Well, hey, you know what? We fixed global warming, baby. Let's go.
Plants withered and animals died by the millions.
7 years? Yeah, don't worry about it.
The few humans who were left banded together to survive. They were rough times.
Yeah.
Eventually, they were over, though. The sky cleared and the sun came back. Plants started blooming again, and the animals that hadn't died out completely began to reappear. Things weren't quite back to normal, though. It's been 45 years now. But there's still quite a bit of dust and ash in the air. That's what you're seeing. You know why a sunset's red? Well, this is the same thing.
No.
Blue and green light have short wavelengths, and they scatter when they run into debris in the air.
No.
Red light, on the other hand, has a longer wavelength, which means it'll get a lot farther when the air's dirty.
No.
So there you are. The Earth looks red because that's the only color of light that can make it through the atmosphere.
I was speechless. What could I possibly say? There was no reason for Tenmyoji to lie to us. So we were standing on the moon, looking at the Earth. It was 2074, but why? Why were we there? Why were we then? I was so lost and thought I barely noticed Phi's approach.
Hey, Sigma, I think I figured something out.
A window popped up on the inside of my helmet with Whisper in the corner. She seemed to be using a circuit only we could hear. Yeah? What is
I
it?
figured out why there's an extra E.
An extra E? Oh, you mean the
Yeah.
graffiti.
I
Finally!
think it's an anagram.
Yeah?
God damn it, Sigma!
What's Anna say this time?
Knock it off! Memento mori if the ninth lion ate the sun. If you rearrange the letters, you get the man on the moon rules the infinite time.
I'm the man on the moon.
See? You need 6 E's to get that, so they stuck an extra one in ninth.
The man on the moon rules the infinite time.
I think it's a message for us from Zero Senior and Akane.
The atmosphere would probably only look red from the surface. Well, the Earth would be reflecting all the light from the sun. So the blue and green wavelengths of light would get scattered. They would go in random directions. It'd probably look brown. It'd probably look brown. I don't fucking know.
Remember what she was telling us?
We create to transport the consciousnesses of two.
So, what are you getting at?
My God, you're slow. You don't get it? They're saying we rule the infinite time. Infinite time. They weren't just talking about having us jump a couple hours. I think they're planning to send us back. Way back.
I'm not smart enough for that. Ooh, wait a minute. Are you saying that you think they're going to send us back 45 years?
Yeah.
I'd bet on it. So the ultimate purpose of the AV project is to send us back in time to that catastrophe Tenmyoji was talking about?
I think so.
That doesn't make sense, though. I mean, we came from the same time period before it, actually. So why bring us here and then send us back?
Well, Akane should be able to tell us the rest. Let's go pay her a visit.
Do you know where she is?
I've got an idea. Come on, think. Remember what she said when
She gave you that key?
We
The grave! The one in the garden! Finally, he's caught up with me.
Come on, what are you waiting for? Let's go.
We're back into the pressure exchange chamber.
What? What are you doing? Did you forget something?
We're going to have a talk with somebody.
Who?
You really need me to spell it out? The person behind all
You mean
this.
Akane?
What?
I'll take that as a yes. Let me accompany you then.
Wait, why do you know about Akane?
I'll tell you when we get there. Now, if you please. I'm coming with you. You folks just said the magic word.
Yeah, correct. Correct thing for Tenmyoji to say here. Hey, I heard Akane. You are not getting rid of me.
I'm going to then. So am I.
Hey, is this Akane you're talking about?
Yeah, you know her real well.
Wait, you're serious? What the hell is going on?
Ah, shut up. Just shut up. Come with me if you want to. We don't need to do roll call. Akane was the one who lived with Kay for 4 years, right? Yes, correct. The suit is Schrodinger's cat. Once we get there, Akane can explain everything. But the number 9 door, though. Can't believe we had to get out and leave and go look at the lunar eclipse for this. Ugh. We don't know who's in it on any run. It's true. This key is the only time we've ever found the solution to that grave in the botanical garden. Wow. And the door just opened, huh?
Ah, clever. The number 9 door on floor A is shut forever once the game ends.
Oh my god.
Assuming Zero Jr. was telling the truth, of course, but the door on floor B...
Yeah. Thought we might be able to take the lift to it, and it looks like I was right.
Any idea where Akane might be?
I said this. I didn't know it was an elevator, but you said this when we started. Nice call. Yeah, the grave.
You mean the grave in the garden?
Yeah, don't worry. I don't think she's buried there or anything. Chances are she's alive. Just in the grave. Anyway, let's move. To the garden! Here we go, over to this grave, by this lion that's eating the sun.
Is Akane really under here?
I think so.
What should we do? Are we gonna dig her out?
No, I don't think we need to do anything like that. See the keyhole in the grave? If I just insert this here. With a quiet grinding, the grave began to shift. A 4th treatment pod. The number 0 treatment
this?
pod. God damn it. Of course there's a number 0 treatment pod. Of course there's 3 bombs and a number 0 bomb. That means there's 3 treatment pods and a number 0 treatment pod. That means that all 4 people could have come from the past. Phi, Sigma, Alice, and Clover.
It doesn't look like a coffin.
Yeah, it's a treatment pod.
Oh my god.
It is, isn't it?
Let's see what's inside.
It was locked.
No good. I think it's locked.
Treatment pod TP00. Stage 1. Defrosting complete.
Stage 1.
Stage 2 will be complete in 10 minutes.
Oh my god, all the timers here, all the computers here have to be running at 1/6 speed as... No, they can be... yes, they do have to be running at 1/6 speed. That must be why Zero is so impatient, is because... like, all of the times are decreased for them.
Once stage 2 is...
Right, cold
What?
sleep. These pods can put people into cold sleep. It uses something called cast to freeze human bodies without destroying their cells.
So, Mizakane's like an ice cube?
I think
Then
so.
we gotta wait till she melts?
Yep.
So how about you tell us your story while we wait, Kay? Specifically, why do you know Akane?
I remembered
What do you remember?
everything. I was born and raised in this facility.
Ah.
It's called Rhizome 9. A rhizome is an underground plant stem that spreads by sending out roots. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? This facility is a little like a rhizome. Supposedly, that's why they call these installations that. The number comes from the facility's number. There are 54 rhizomes on the moon, and this is the 9th one. Well, I suppose the other ones don't really matter to you, do they?
No.
In any event, I grew up here with Akane and Zero Senior. I watched them create the AB project.
The AB project?
Yes. Its purpose is to send Phi and Sigma, or their consciousnesses at least.
Just straight up
to
tell
the past.
everyone, huh? Just tell everyone? Back to 45 years, right?
Yes.
So, you want us to change history, huh? Go back and keep Radical 6 from getting out, and stop the reactors from exploding. That's our mission?
Well, not exactly.
What do you mean?
It's true that the ultimate goal of the project is to keep Radical 6 from spreading to the general population. But even if you do make it back, you won't be able to do much. By now, it's already too late.
Too late?
What do you mean?
Let me begin at the beginning.
Finally, thank you.
You might be thinking that Zero Senior and Akane were the ones who created all this.
Yeah?
But that's not entirely correct. They only followed the histories they'd already seen.
Right.
It was the only choice they had.
Is Zero Senior Snake?
Nothing less than the future of mankind is at stake. We need the two of you to jump through timelines while maintaining your memories. That is why you had to play the AB game, and why the chromatic doors were necessary.
Yes, thank you.
By forcing multiple options, you could make numerous jumps.
Uh-huh.
We speculated that jumping more
Yeah, jumping more memories, yeah.
puzzles were also there. Some theories hold that a moment of insight when you solve a puzzle
Eureka,
strengthens your connection
euphoria.
to the fourth dimension. That was the reason for the puzzles. Your infection with Radical 6 was also a vital part of our plan. By slowing down your brain's processing speed, we can store your potential. With that energy stored up, we just had to provide a life or death situation to launch your consciousness into the fourth dimension. Like a bullet from a slingshot.
Wait, hold on just a minute here. You keep talking about Sigma and Phi, but what about the rest of us? Why did you bring us here?
That's simple. In earlier histories, you were all here in Rhizome 9. We needed you here to accurately replicate those histories. Although I suppose that's probably not a good enough explanation for you. In a sense, though, it is the truth. Our primary goal was to replicate history. The rest is... Yes, I suppose I should explain.
Yes, please explain.
Very well. I will try and do so in a way you can understand. First, Alice and Clover. They were abducted 45 years and 1 month ago, on December 22nd, 2028.
Correct.
The location is Earth, of course. More specifically, Los Angeles, California. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
After being kidnapped, your bodies were sent to a facility under Akane's direction. You were placed in treatment pods and immediately put into cold sleep. 4 months later, you arrived at this facility. The date you finally arrived was April 14th, 2029.
The day after the reactors blew.
Your trip from Earth to this facility was aboard a spaceship powered by an annihilation engine. Following your arrival, your pods were placed in long-term storage. Does that make sense?
Are you telling me we were sleeping in those pods here for 45 years?
No, you woke up once you got here.
Yes, in preparation for this day.
But why? What do you need us for?
You are an Esper, aren't you, Clover? I mean that you are able to access the fourth dimension. Am I wrong?
Did Akane tell you?
In a manner of speaking, as I've already explained, the purpose of this project is to send Sigma and Phi's consciousnesses to the past. Espers are able to sort of, you understand? This is why we brought you here, Clover.
What about me?
We needed your help, Alice, to deactivate Dio's bombs.
Huh?
But I didn't do anything.
But you did. In another history, you were able to perform a prime decomposition on the 25-digit integer that Dio left behind.
Correct.
Only you could do that sort of thing.
That's correct.
Because of your feat of mathematics, we were about to determine that Dio had planted the bombs.
We were able to determine.
Then we were able to question him and get the password for the number 31. Finally, we used that information to stop the bomb in this timeline.
Was Kay just lying? No, he says he remembered.
Without your help, Alice, we would have been reduced to nothing more than so much space dust. This history exists because of your presence. Now,
That
let
was
me
the Alice
explain why
ending.
we needed Tenmyoji and Quark. Tenmyoji is simple. We needed you for the same reason we needed Clover. You are able to access the fourth dimension. Almost half a century ago, you used that ability to save a young girl, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
We needed you to resonate with Sigma and Phi, so we brought you here. All it took was a messenger.
Do you want to see Akane? If you do, come with me. I was a fool and fell for it.
And you brought Quark with you. In fact, you insisted that he come.
Yeah, I know. I guess you were worried about leaving me alone, huh? He kept saying he couldn't run off to the moon and leave me behind.
I'm sorry, Quark. If I hadn't been so stupid and selfish, none of this would have happened.
Oh yeah, he died multiple times. What timelines did he die in again, actually? Like, bombs exploding, yeah. But in most of the other ones, he's asleep, infected with Radical 6, or Luna left with him. Like, Quark didn't die that many times.
I never thought this would happen. Can you ever forgive me?
Oh, don't worry about it. I mean, I agreed to come with you. I thought the moon would be way more interesting than boring old Earth. What kid would turn that down?
We didn't see the messenger after we got on the ship. It was on autopilot. As soon as we got in, it headed straight for the moon. During the trip, Zero told me to keep quiet once we got there. I don't remember anything after we landed.
Then there was a bunch of that white smoke, and we passed out, and when I woke up, I was in the AB room.
Now, his real name is Left, and he's the leader of a terrorist organization called the Myrmidons. He was ordered to come here. The Myrmidons are under the control of an organization called Free the Soul, which is in turn controlled by a man known as Brother.
Yeah.
It was Brother who orchestrated the release of Radical 6 into the general population 45 years ago.
Interesting.
Do you remember what Phi mentioned earlier? The ultimate purpose of the AB project is to change history and keep Radical 6 from being released. If we succeed, that would be bad for Brother and his organization. Our success would prevent them from creating the ideal world they're working toward. That is why Brother sent Left, his trusted lieutenant, to this facility. They needed to stop the AB project. So, Dio was given 2 tasks. The first was to eliminate Akane, the architect of the AB project. The second was to join the AB game and win it. If Dio won the game, the AB project would not be completed, at least not in that timeline. In other words, in that world, the project would have been stopped. If things didn't go as planned, Dio was given a contingency plan.
Blow the fuck up.
If you cannot murder Akane and win the game, destroy Rhizome 9, hence the bombs.
Can I ask you something?
Perhaps.
How did Brother know about the AB project?
He was also an Esper.
Oh.
We can set Brother aside for now, though.
Was brother also a part of the Nonary games? The first one?
May I proceed?
No one objected. We were all curious.
Excellent. That explains everyone, save two, Luna and myself. Sigma and Phi already know the truth about Luna. I don't believe I should reveal any more, however. I think it would be more appropriate if you could ask Luna yourselves.
Shock?
At a later time.
I don't think it's Snake. I think Zero Senior is Snake, but his brother was the one who died at the Nevada test site. No. If I remember correctly, then only one kid died, and that was Akane, but then she didn't. I don't think anyone died at the Nevada test site. But it did happen when he was 9, didn't it?
Would that be all right with you?
Y is a symbol for miracles. I don't know. These games are confusing. It was Akane in a bad timeline, and also they were lying about Akane dying because she knew that in order to live, she had to not die. Or she had to die, theoretically.
Luna?
Yes, that's okay.
As for me, as I said before, I was born and raised here. The rest of you were brought to this facility, but I've never left. That makes me someone close to Zero Senior and Akane.
Hey, I've been wondering, who is Zero Senior?
You've already met him, Sigma, in another timeline.
Yeah. Well, I saw a hologram. Still don't know who he is.
Steady.
It looks like it's finished. Shall we open the pod?
Yeah, let's do it. It's gonna be Zero Senior.
Okay, let's get started then. Ready?
If I laid her hand on the lever and looked around at us, I swallowed. Yeah, anytime.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
It's not Akane. It can't be Akane. There's too much preamble for this to be Akane. It has to be Snake, old Snake, who is Zero Senior. Me? What? Suddenly, my head was full of memories from the other timelines. I'd seen something like this before. The warehouse of floor B, in front of the white door. Kay was lying in front of me. I grabbed his mask and saw my own face. I'd never figured out who he really was. Why was there a man with my face underneath Kay's armor? It didn't make any sense. After I'd seen him, I was interjected with tubercularine, and that was the end of that. But wait, if the person in the pod was the same person I'd seen on the floor of the warehouse, who was wearing Kay's armor?
You finally noticed. Didn't I tell you? You won't be alone. I will be at your side, watching over you.
Is it Akane in the fucking suit? No. Oh my god! You're...
Yes, I am.
Akane Kurashiki.
It's you, June. I mean, Akane from... But you're old.
Yes, that's correct. I haven't spoken to you in a very long time, Clover.
I mean, it is power armor. We know that it's powered armor. The key doesn't work if it's depowered.
Or you, Junpei.
Junpei?
Akane, long time no see.
I could barely hear what they were saying. My mind was still fucking reeling. It felt like the air had been knocked out of me, and it was all I could do to not collapse right then and there.
When? How long?
Do you remember when
The two of you saved me in the warehouse by drop-kicking Dio and kicking his shit.
once you saved me, you went back to your future? Well, your minds did, at least. I carried your bodies to the third AB room and then took Dio's to the 5th.
And then she got in the armor.
After that, I went into the first room and borrowed Kay's armor.
So by the time you and Clover came out, you'd already...
Yes.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Dio killed you, and then Luna took your body to the 6th room. You couldn't have been in Kay's armor.
No, it was me. In this timeline, at least. In this one, I wasn't murdered by Dio. You two saved me. It's just like Schrodinger's cat. Your actions in the future decided who would be inside the armor in the past.
What? No, that's nuts.
Alright, what about the other history? The one where you weren't saved. What happens then? Who's wearing the armor?
That's quite simple. The man in front of you.
Him?
That's correct. Whenever I'm not in the armor, he is.
Yep.
What about the memory loss?
For my part, I confess that I lied. He, on the other hand, was telling the truth. Large doses of soporil can cause memory loss. I gave him a rather large dose.
So, who is he?
You've never seen him before?
No.
What about the rest of you?
I have no idea who he is.
I've never seen him before.
Me either. Total stranger.
Hey, come on, what are you guys saying? Right here? Same face?
Huh?
Are you all right, Mr.
Oh
Sigma?
my god, is my face different?
Did you hit your head or something?
Huh? What? Why didn't they recognize me?
Sigma, your consciousness can jump through time.
Oh my god, what's
You
happening?
can inhabit your body in the past or in the future.
Am I old as shit?
Don't you get it? You've jumped to the future from 45 years ago.
I looked around frantically. A pond! I ran to it and threw myself on my knees. I approached the edge. Calm down, damn it! Yeah. I'm Zero Senior! What? No, this can't be real. This face.
It's your face, Dr. Sigma Climb.
Sigma Climb.
Although to the you that's behind it now, it's your face 45 years from now. Zero, the mastermind of the AB project, is you.
What? No, that's not possible. That's bullshit.
No, it's the truth. Fighting it isn't going to do you any good. Please, Doctor.
Oh. Fi said, you must have done a lot of drugs to look like that at 22. And holy shit, yeah. That means also that every single... That's why Kay's a clone. Kay's a clone because if he did need a replacement, he needed to have the same body in order for the AB project to work. If for some reason original Sigma died, then K would have become the new Sigma and cloned another new K, and this is also why Sigma isn't voice acted, because he'd be old as shit. I'm not a doctor.
You will be a pioneer in the field of genetic engineering.
You're lying.
No, I'm not. You created him. Well, I suppose I should say you are going to create him.
And that's why the biotic arm, so you don't see that you have old man arms. Create?
His name is Kyle Klein.
Kyle!
Your clone. That is why he looks just like a younger version of yourself. 23 years ago, in the biolab here in Rhizome 9, you created Kyle. Well, I suppose for you, that's still in the future.
Yeah, 22 years into the future.
When I said I was born and raised here, I was still pretending to be him.
Why were you still
The
pretending?
gravity here is only 1/6 of Earth's. If nothing was done, the reduced gravity would cause his bones to be weaker than normal human ones. But you prepared for that.
With the suit
You
of
gave
armor.
him that armor. Ever since he was born, he's lived inside of it. It kept his muscles and bones strong. He wasn't forced into it for the nonary game. He's been wearing it every day, all his life.
But why would future me create a clone?
He was to be your spare. If something happened to you before the project began, he would take your place.
Bullshit.
I mentioned before that the AB projects A
Oh
and
my
B
God.
stand for after and before.
Sigma is the before, Phi must be the after.
That isn't all they mean, though. The A also means anima, and the B means body.
God!
Anima is another word for the soul or the consciousness.
Yep. It's life.
Bodies,
It's life,
well,
actually.
Exactly what it says on the tin. The past consciousness will go into the future body, and the future
This game is so stupid, I love
will
it.
go into
Yeah.
the past body.
I can't
They
believe it.
switch.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. This entire time, Old Man Zero Senior is already in the fucking past stopping it? I don't know if wearing the armor every day would necessarily make his bones and muscles strong enough for low gravity. I think the suit of armor has two functions. The first function is to be a suit of armor. The second function is to, do genetic science magic on your muscles to make your muscles strong and bones strong. Well, we know what the next game is, at least, I guess. It's not. It's not this at all.
That was the chief goal of the project.
Wait, so the future person goes into the past person?
Sigma, do you remember the note you found in the garden?
You mean this, right?
Yes.
This is the junction point.
Ah, of course, it was you who investigated the garden in this timeline.
The Nevada test site. This is a timeline! This is a timeline! The weird map with Rhizome 9. It's true. Okay, so, original timeline. Radical 6 gets released. We go left. Normal timeline continues, and we go to B. And then at B, we're at Rhizome 9. At C, we start jumping. We jump back before here. We continue to be here at Rhizome 9. And then we go back here. And then we switch. And then Old Man Sigma comes back and leaves Rhizome 9. And Young Man Sigma goes on in this new timeline where things are fine.
Yeah. Sigma, take a good look at this. It's an illustration of the time jumps your consciousness is making. A is where everything began. December 25th, 2028. You inhaled the white smoke in your car and lost consciousness. From there, you jumped to B. January 25th, 2074.
That's when we
You
woke up in
woke
the
up
aviary.
and you are in your own body, but it is 67 years old.
We do also need to be strong enough. Like that's also a part of the cybernetic arms, is because we're 67 years old now. We can't expect ourselves to pick up a body and be like, well, it's pretty light. Because I'm a big strong man. I'm a big strong man in my prime.
Your consciousness has jumped 45 years into the future. I believe that may explain why you didn't notice the reduced lunar gravity. The body you woke up in was much older. Normally, you would have noticed that your muscles were much weaker. In this case, however, the lower gravity balanced that out. Moving on, if you continue along this line,
What happens next?
you reach C, which is January 27th, 2074. That is today.
Whoa, wait, what do you mean? Are you saying it's been 2 days since we woke up?
36 hours to be exact.
It's because the time thing is jumped.
Have you already forgotten?
We're all infected
you
with
were
Radical
all
6.
in the
Yeah.
virus, so yes. 36 hours of real time have passed.
That's why there's no time codes. That's why the time codes are weird, and they use their own internal
But
system.
to you, it only seemed like 14 hours and
Because
40
it's times
minutes.
root 6 faster, or slower, or
Now
whatever.
comes the important part. After this, your consciousness will return to the past. It will re-emerge at point D. April 13th, 2029.
Uh-huh.
You will return to your younger body.
The 9 doors open for longer? Well, it's true.
But that's the same day as the reactor explosions.
Yes. That is why I said it will be too late. You will return to the past, but the events you would want to prevent will have already happened.
Uh-huh.
The story does not end there, however.
God, I need a pee so
The
bad.
line continues. After reaching point D, you will eventually return to B. But this time, you won't be jumping through time, or at least not at a rate faster than normal.
Right, mm-hmm.
Your consciousness will spend 45 years inhabiting the same body.
Wait a minute. Oh, okay. Uh-huh, right.
Until you reach point B. Do you remember when B is Sigma?
January 25th, 2074. It's
Correct.
36 hours ago.
That was when the consciousness of the 22-year-old Sigma jumped into the body of 67-year-old Sigma.
So, I'm destined to just live out 45 years in a nightmare?
So where did the older version of you go when you took his body?
Point A. December 25th, 2028, the date all this started.
Yes, his consciousness will go back in time 45 years. For a period of time, he will inhabit your younger body. While your younger consciousness is elsewhere, he will be you in the past.
But once that body reaches point D, my 22-year-old consciousness will come back from point C.
That's correct. When that happens, the older version of you will be ejected from your younger body and return to your body at C.
So it's rotating?
Rotating. I suppose you could put it that way.
We're just swapping off?
But look at this illustration closely. What if you take all these lines and untangle them?
God,
You get one single line. It may look complicated, but in truth, it's a single straight path.
Yeah?
With one exception.
This line here at point E, right?
Exactly. Point E is December 31st, 2028, the day of the total eclipse.
Yeah. Today, Radical 6 got out of the test facility.
Yes. By now, you've likely figured it out on your own. The purpose of the AB project was to get the consciousness of the 67-year-old Sigma from point B to point A. If we can do that, we can change what happened 45 years ago.
Uh-huh. So the old version of me will keep Radical 6 from getting out by jumping into my 22-year-old body on New Year's Eve 2028?
Yes, that is why this line could not be interrupted. In order for the 67-year-old version of you to reach point B, we first have to go through point D.
No, we don't. Like, he could just go from here. Why did he have to jump back to here, since we didn't jump from here?
In
It's two
order to
loops.
get to point D, we must jump from point C. And for point C to happen, we had to recreate everything that happened in this facility. That is why we have faithfully retraced history up to this point, so that we might save humankind from destruction.
Right.
And undo the horrors of the last 45 years.
Yeah. Thanks. And I need to pee. Tell me one thing after I pee. Back in a bit. We're just gonna go here, put on some music, and run an ad. I can't take this. I can't take this. Da-da. We're all at our limits? Yeah. My bladder's at my limit. Okay, let's hop back in. Hello. Something that's important to note is that if it has been 36 hours and it's just our brain's processing speed that has slowed down, that does mean that we have been without, theoretically, food and water for 36 fucking hours. We should be fucking, like the pantry was one of the last rooms that we found. Right? We should have, like... time is sped up. And Sigma's 67. He should have had old man bladder. No wonder 5 pigged out on processed food. Yeah, no. Literally, Sigma should have been peeing every, 2 minutes. Also, we're back. Tell me one thing.
What is that?
You said the point C is January 27th, which is today. There's going to be a jump, and I'll jump to April 13th, 2029.
Yes, that's right.
But look, I'm still old. When is the jump supposed to happen?
Very soon. Yes.
Soon? And what's going to trigger?
We need potential energy stored to send your consciousness into the fourth dimension. Fortunately, we now have plenty of that, thanks, ironically, to Radical 6. All that remains is to launch your consciousness, like a bullet from a slingshot.
Yeah? And how do you propose to do that?
Didn't I tell you? A crisis. A moment balanced between life and death. That can jumpstart your brain.
What do you mean?
You haven't figured it out. I mean this.
The knife! Dio's knife? No sooner were the words out of my mouth. Fi! I screamed and leapt toward them. Akane was already in motion, the knife diving towards Fi's chest. I was almost there. When I regained consciousness, I was on the floor. There was a dull pain in my chest. I felt for a cut, but something was in the way. It took a moment to realize that it was Akane's body lying on top of me. I twisted my neck to look around. Nearby was an old tombstone. On it was a few words written in Latin. Tu fui ego eris. What you are, I was. What I am, you will be. Yeah? Uh-huh. And? What? 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 No! Okay. Did Akane just die? Was that old man Sigma? Who is brother? Who is Fi? How come there were two credits? One was for old Akane, and one was for 22-year-old Akane. Why? What happens now? Why didn't Kyle wake up? But the issue is that there are so many parts of this game that says, this is the end. We've given you all the secrets. Everything's fine. Okay. All right. And... Of course, a new destination has been added to the floor chart! Ah! Thank you for the head pats. Time after time saw Fi's ending in VLR. Here's the before scene. And then here's... Why is this game? So true. Headquarters, April 13th, 2029. The day the bombs go. Homestuck Day. John's birthday. The day Skya starts sending meteors to the Earth.
Today is April 13th, 2029, and this is the evening news. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I don't have any news to read. All of our station's reporters have passed after contracting Radical 6.
Brutal!
So have my... Excuse me. I've managed to keep us on the air until now. But I'm out of tricks.
Damn.
It's time for me to sign off. This concludes our broadcast day. I pray that someday our world can be cleansed of this horrible plague. Goodbye.
Ew! No. Why did it turn to static? For a moment, I just stared at the TV. The roar of the static seemed to fill the entire room until, with a click, it disappeared too. Well, I mean, she was infected by Radical 6. Had the power gone out? I heard footsteps behind me and turned around. You. Brother? Akane?
It looks like the first step was successful.
What the fuck? You killed me!
Killed?
I guess technically you're gonna kill me 45 years from now, but still!
Hey, no need to be rude about it. I didn't kill you. I hit you with the butt of the knife. You're fine.
I'm okay?
Yes. You and Phi needed to experience a state of crisis. That was the only way.
Who's Phi? Me and Phi?
Yes, I only told you about you, but we also needed Phi to jump. Now, you know what happens next, right?
We go to the moon?
Correct. We will be leaving tomorrow, April 14th, 2029. We've nearly finished preparing your shuttle.
With Clover's body and Alice's body.
Only a few last-minute checks and additions. You'll be traveling to Rhizome 9, along with 3 treatment pods.
Is one of them Phi? Alice and Clover,
Yes.
right? What about the third one? Who's in there?
Phi. We put her into cold sleep 2 days ago. She appeared at our headquarters and volunteered to be frozen. That wasn't the Phi who jumped from point C, though. It was Phi before she jumped from point A to point D. In other words, she was following the same path you are. And she still is.
Then that means that after you froze her, the point C version of her jumped back into her body?
Yes. The point C version of Phi is sleeping in that pod. She'll stay there for the next 45 years, sleeping in ice.
Then when she gets to point B, her consciousness will jump to point A, right?
Correct.
Huh, so that's why she didn't look old. So why don't you just stick me in one of those pods?
We can't do that.
Why not?
You haven't figured it out? You have to spend the next 45 years working on the AB project. After arriving at Rhizome 9, you must master genetic engineering and artificial intelligence programming, among other disciplines.
Yeah, I guess I do have to make logiform.
Otherwise, you will be unable
Lagomorph.
to create Kyle, Luna, and Lagomorph. And, of course, you will need to develop the chromatic doors and the bracelets. You will also be the person who summons Tenmyoji and Quark. Once you've completed all the preparations, then the project can actually begin. January 25th, 2074. You will defrost Phi and carry her to the 3rd AB room. Once you've done that, the 22-year-old version of you from point A will force you out.
Yeah.
And you'll just go back 45 years to your own body on December 25th, 2028.
and then I change history? Do you really think I can keep this virus from getting out?
You have to. If you don't, billions of people will die.
This is a whole lot of repeating the same fucking things. It's true.
Only you and Phi can save them.
What about you? Aren't you an Esper too?
I can't do anything on my own. If this is going to work, I'll need your help.
So, what do I need to do?
What do you mean?
Like, what specific actions do I need to take? When Phi and I jump to point A, what are we going to do then?
You'll both enter the Mars mission test site.
And after that?
I don't know.
What?
I'm sorry. I really don't know anything about what happens in there. We don't know how the Radical Six escaped. We don't even know why it was there in the first place.
Ah, crap. Then we're screwed.
That's why we need your help. You have the ability to jump through time and across parallel worlds.
Uh-huh.
We need you to figure out what happened in that test facility.
Oh my god.
Things will be difficult, and I'm sure you will find yourself in a great deal of danger. But I believe the two of you can overcome any obstacle.
Uh-huh. Wait, how do you know it's so
The
dangerous?
67-year-old version of you told me what happened. He wasn't able to stop the virus. So I suppose you could say you told me after you failed.
What did I say?
That the test facility is full of traps. There was one point. A woman's life was in danger.
Uh-huh.
You risked yourself for her sake and lost your arms and your right eye.
My arms and my right eye? What the hell? Oh my god. He's already got the robot arms on because...
Go have a look.
Jesus Christ. I could see a massive mushroom cloud climbing slowly toward the sky. Would we really be able to change the course of history? No, that was the wrong way to look at it. It couldn't be a question. I had to change history. We could save the world. I'm going to change history. I stared at the darkening skies above us and steeled myself. I would succeed. Uh-huh. End or beginning? What do you mean there's more? I mean, there should be more, but...
Where?
I see you've finally woken up, Kyle.
Ah!
Kyle.
Yes, of course. You've only just woken up in this timeline. It's only natural for some of your memories to be missing.
I lurched upright, jumped off the bed, and ran around to the other side of the partition. The mirror over the sink was covered in film with dirt. I wiped it off with my sleeve and my reflection stared back at me. There was no mistake. The reflection belonged to...
Kyle Climb. So, I'm Dr. Climb? Zero Senior's clone?
What? How do you know that? Shouldn't you still be suffering from amnesia?
An excellent question, one I didn't know the answer to myself. I knew who Kyle Climb was. In another history, he had been called K and worn a suit of armor. I knew everything about him, but even though I knew it, I didn't feel it. Was I really Kyle Climb? Every time I looked in the mirror, I saw his face. The spitting image of Sigma Climb in his younger days. I looked down. There was Dio, still handcuffed. I turned back around to Luna.
What day is today?
January 27th, 2074.
Today is the last day of the AB project. Akane has explained everything in the garden, and she drew a knife and attacked Phi. How long have I been asleep?
About 5 hours in real time. For them, it would have seemed like a little more than 2 hours.
So they still haven't been treated for their Radical 6?
No, they've all been given the antiviral. It just takes a while to have an effect.
Good.
I see. So the consciousness of the younger Sigma has gone back into the past. It should have happened right after Akane attacked Phi, right?
Yes.
Why am I here?
The doctor carried you back here. You were in the pod in the garden.
The Doctor's Sigma.
So the person you call the Doctor is Sigma Climb, as inhabited by his age-appropriate consciousness.
Yes, but how do you know that?
Dio seems to have remained unconscious.
Yes, I've been administering Soparil whenever he gets restless.
Thanks, Luna.
What about the others?
They've all gone off to different areas. Tenmyoji and Quark, for instance.
Oh, right. Mr. Klein.
So the sleepyhead's finally up, huh?
What are you two doing here?
You don't know where we are?
This is the upper floor of the pressure exchange chamber. The real one.
Mm-hmm.
We were just about to get dressed and head out.
You plan to return then? To Earth, I mean.
Yeah.
Sigma told us where we could find the shuttle that brought us here. Well, guess he's not really the Sigma I knew anymore. He's Dr. Klein now, or Zero Senior, depending on how you look at it.
So clearly what's happened, based on our knowledge of things and the fact that this is still our consciousness, means that we did jump into the clone as the spare. Does that mean Sigma's dead? Did 67-year-old Sigma die? So when we jump back here, we have a new young body that fits our consciousness to be in?
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Well, I'm just curious why you would choose to return to a devastated planet when you could stay here.
How's staying here gonna help? You aren't gonna say something idiotic about how we should wait here until Sigma changes the past, are you?
Something's up, something's up. Mm-hmm.
You can't wait for something that's already happened. Grammar doesn't work that way. Hell, nature doesn't work that way. You following me? We've already lived through history. Sigma failed to keep the virus from getting out. About 45 years ago, Radical 6 created a pandemic, and the antimatter reactors blew up. That all happened.
Until it's observed.
Whatever Sigma does in the past, history's not going to change. In fact, it's because of what he did or didn't do in the past that we've got this past and present.
You're thinking too linear timely.
Let me give you an example. Imagine a group of 100 motorcycles driving down an endless freeway. Eventually, they hit a junction. The road splits in two. One freeway continues off northwest, so one guy, we'll call him S, pipes up. "Let's go northwest," he says. So they take the northwestern road. But about a mile past the intersection, something horrible happens. A semi driving the other way veers into their lane and plows through the bikers. 90 of them die. The surviving 10 are wounded, but survive. They don't stop though. They keep riding down that highway, and eventually they'd gone 10,000 miles. Then suddenly, something happens that they couldn't have predicted. S, who had survived, suddenly has his consciousness thrown back in time. He ends up back in his own body, just before they reach the junction. He remembers everything. So what does S do? What anybody would do. Let's go northeast. That means all 100 of the bikers survive to reach their destination, happy and healthy. And they all live happily ever after. That's what you're thinking, right? It's a great outcome for the 100 bikers that went northeast. But what about the 10 that went northwest and survived the accident?
Huh? Wouldn't it be 9 people? I mean, S's mind went back in time, right?
But younger S's mind came to the future.
Right. Okay. 9 people then. What happens to the reality they were living? Does it just disappear when S changes the past? It's not as if it was only bad things that happened during that 10,000-mile trip.
Right, Tenmyoji doesn't want to give up Quark.
Maybe one of them fell in love with a woman working at a gas station they stopped at and had a child. Maybe one of them picked up a homeless kid who joined them on their adventure. That 10,000-mile journey would be full of stories, friendships, farewells. The loss of those 90 lives is horrible and unfortunate. But what would rewriting their history mean? The 9 who survived lived full lives. How can it be right to just erase all that? The survivors overcame their own misery and loss and made the best they could of the hand they'd been dealt. Isn't that worth something? Isn't that the best thing that humans can aspire to? Is there really any point to a world where everything is happy? Are people who struggle for a better life Just idiots?
Had to make it 9 again.
Being
It's
human
true.
is about fighting, even when it seems hopeless, and finding happiness, even in a world that hates it. Are you saying that's worthless? If you're saying rewriting the past will erase all these other timelines, then whatever God wrote those rules can I'm just not going to accept that, all right? You get it?
If Sigma changes the past, then you and Quark will never meet.
Is he right?
No, it's not going to happen. We're here right now. This is reality.
It's being
Even
observed,
if
so
Sigma
it is
does
reality.
change the past, we're not just going to disappear or something.
Oh, then that means we get to stay together? Good.
Thanks, kid.
I understand how you feel. Why you want to return to Earth is clear. You have lives there, I imagine. There are likely people waiting for you.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Have you already said goodbye to the others?
Bye, Luna, Alice, and Clover all saw us off.
Who's in Phi right now?
We told him we'd see him again someday, and then came here.
The original Phi, who's just a little bit old because of the
They were the only people
sleep.
you want to say goodbye to?
No point saying anything to Dio.
Besides, he's asleep. You were asleep too.
Sorry, but we didn't really know much about you.
You have a point. Akane was in the armor in this timeline, after all. What about Sigma?
Well, he's not really Mr. Sigma anymore.
Of course. He is Dr. Klein now that his consciousness has returned.
Yeah, but more importantly, he's the guy who brought us all here. Not a lot of warm feelings there, you know?
And Akane?
Never mind her.
Never mind her?
She's just like him. Not the Akane I knew.
Damn!
She must have seen some pretty awful things over the years.
Yeah.
She might not even be human anymore. But the Akane Kurashiki I know isn't here.
Oh, that's brutal.
She's not anywhere.
That's fucking brutal.
In the end, Clover and I were just pawns. Pawns to be used and then gotten rid of. Still, it's not like we were completely resentful. We had to be here to help change the past. That part's easy to understand, but
Kinda sucks, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Sigma and Phi have it easy. They get to go back to December 25th in 2028.
Yeah, Clover does not get to time travel back.
They'll stop the Radical Six and save the world, and then they'll have a nice, normal future to look forward to. In other words, they get to go back to Point E and just enjoy history like it was supposed to happen.
but we don't. We're stuck with Point C as our starting point.
You told us about Tenmyoji's story, right? The one with the motorcycles? It would be like if Alice and I were kidnapped right before the intersection. Then whoever grabbed us takes us to wherever the bikers are going, 10,000 miles to the northwest.
Don't get us wrong. We know why we had to be here. Without us, S's consciousness wouldn't have been able to go back to right before the intersection.
This version of Akane had to spend most of her life on this whole project, and this whole project that's worthless. Akane says, yeah, no, like, you tried to stop the virus, and you lost your arms and eye.
If that couldn't happen, then the fate of those 90 dead bikers would be sealed. But
It's still not the best situation for those of us left in the Northwest. We're stuck in the reality where the 90 bikers died.
are we just supposed to go live on Earth? It's a wasteland now. And what about our friends and families? We left a whole world behind 45 years ago.
What about your brother, Clover?
Even if it is for the greater good?
It just doesn't seem fair, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit much.
So we went and talked to the old lady.
She told us that there is one way.
One way we could get back to the past.
Let's say you do go back to the past. Wouldn't that cause your minds to get thrown back here? That seemed to be how Sigma and Phi's jumps worked, at least.
Yes, you're right.
But this is different.
Different. How so?
From what she said, it sounds like there's a way we can send our bodies back in time too.
Uh-huh.
That's ridiculous. It would create a paradox. How could you have two Clovers and two Alices at the same time?
But that wouldn't happen.
Akane says there's a way around that.
How on earth does she plan to do that?
Schrodinger's
Cat.
Oh, hey, Kyle.
So, until they're observed in the pods, which are sealed, soundproof, they're in cold sleep, they could be empty. They could be taking empty pods to the moon.
Figured you'd come here eventually.
Where's Dr. Klein? Luna said you were with him.
He said he was tired, so he's off resting right now. There's a bedroom at the end of the hallway. He's in there if you're curious. Oh, right. He told me to turn on this hologram projector thing when you showed up. Want me to start it?
Sure.
Dr. Klein knows that I'm Sigma.
Glad to see you. There isn't anything in particular that I have to tell you. However, I imagine there are a great number of things weighing on your mind. I'd love to answer all your questions. I hope you can forgive me. Everything I know, Phi should also know. I have instructed her to answer any questions anyone might have. Anyone other than Kyle, that is.
What?
What does he mean, other than Kyle?
Who knows? Is there anything you want to ask?
Right, well, I guess I may as well cut to the chase. Just who are you, Phi?
I'm not Superman, that's for sure. And I'm not Batman or Spider-Man or Aquaman or a merman or a wolfman. I'm not a Brahmin or Kamen or Ramen. I'm not a Cayman either, so you really don't need to worry about anything.
Please don't dodge the question. About 5 hours ago, Akane attacked you with a knife. That triggered something which sent your mind back to the past, correct? Specifically, you were sent to Point D, April 13th, 2029. On that date, your body was already in Akane's custody.
Motherfucker, it's absolute
then, you were in
horseshit.
cold sleep. You wouldn't have regained consciousness, but your mind was now inhabiting that body. That pod was your home for 45 years. You slept there, frozen, until the time was right. Then on January 25th, even though you didn't wake, still unconscious, that was when your consciousness changed bodies again. A version of you from December 25th, 2028 arrived, pushing you out and sending you back to December 25th, 2028.
Okay, so C goes back to D. D waits 45 years and goes to B. This timeline goes back here. Okay.
This is when you finally woke up.
But the version of her that we're talking to right now is one that lived through the timeline where we don't stop the Radical 6, gets kicked out of D when waking up here, and goes back to C. So we're currently on this timeline's Phi.
In 2028, you attempted to... Unfortunately, your plan failed. The Radical 6 did escape on New Year's Eve. That failure determined the path you followed. Instead of going along the line that branches out to the right from Point E, you headed straight to Point D. Point D being April 13th of the following year. That was the day that you made your way to Akane's hideout and asked to be put into one of the treatment pods. Another consciousness enters your body around that time from the future. It is, of course, the version of you that left your... This caused the two versions of you to swap places, and you moved 45 years into the future, where you woke up on the garden floor.
Right.
That put you on the line that comes here. So if we discount the time you spent in cold sleep, for you, only 3.5 months have passed since that happened. That being when you were sent back into the past from the garden. Have I missed anything?
No, everything you talked about you got right.
Well, what do you mean by that?
I'm kind of an unknown variable in this equation. You could think of me as a kind of X factor.
Yeah?
It's taken me the last 3.5 months to understand it.
And I haven't understood anything in the last 3.5 seconds. Could you please explain?
It's kind of like the relationship between classical mechanics and modern physics.
Oh my god! We're still zero escaping, motherfuckers! We're still zero escaping! There's no escape from zero escape bullshit!
Strictly speaking, you can't combine velocities with v1 plus v2. v1 plus v2 divided by 1 plus v1 times v2 over c squared is the actual equation.
How many takes did that take? v1 plus v2 over 1 plus v1 times v2 over c squared is the actual equation.
Of course, the sort of velocities we encounter in day-to-day life don't come close to being c squared, which is the speed of light squared. That means that 1 plus v1 times v2 divided by c squared is usually going to evaluate to something pretty close to 1. Since that would mean dividing by 1, it's usually okay to just skip that step and use V1 plus V2. You see what I'm saying? In most situations, it works, even if it isn't technically correct. So you knew enough to get the stuff you were talking about right. As long as you stick to that, you won't run into any problems.
I don't quite understand. In fact, I feel like you're dodging my questions.
So was that what you wanted to ask about?
No. What I really want to know is what happened between Christmas and New Year's Eve in 2028.
Yeah.
You and Sigma infiltrated the Mars mission test site, didn't you?
Yes.
What happened there? How did Sigma lose his eye and both his arms? And why was Radical 6 in there in the first place? What could a deadly virus have to do with the simulated mission to space?
Sorry, but I can't tell you that.
Why?
Because it would change history. There is a history where the virus didn't escape. That's the line that goes to the right of point E.
Right.
In that timeline, humanity isn't heading for annihilation, and Earth isn't red.
Yeah.
The future is much brighter.
Uh-huh.
But if I tell you what you're asking me right now, then that reality will disappear.
What? What do you mean?
You understand?
I don't. Why would all of that disappear if you told me what I want to know?
You're about to go back to the past, right?
The past? Don't be silly. I can't do that.
Then where the hell did you learn all this stuff? I just listened to you tell me a bunch of things you shouldn't have known about.
Because I'm Sigma.
You were sleeping in the pod in the garden. You just woke up. So how can you know all this? You know my past. Sigma's past.
I shall give you your answer. You are not Kyle Climb. Your body is Kyle's, but your consciousness is not. Think about it. Do you really believe you're Kyle? Or could you be someone else entirely?
Then, where is the real Kyle's consciousness?
He was thrown out when you entered. Right now, in a manner of speaking, he has arrived at December 25th. His consciousness has gone into a body from that time. I doubt you know how much the Doctor loves Kyle.
No, 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 no! Kyle is Sigma's brother, who becomes no, that doesn't make
sense. He
raised
him on his own. Kyle is irreplaceable. Do you really think he would go back to the past and leave Kyle behind here?
Huh? What?
I know what I told the others, that Kyle was Dr. Climb's spare. But that was not his only purpose. Kyle's consciousness is integral to what we are trying to accomplish. This new mission begins on Christmas and ends on New Year's Eve 2028.
What's happening?
Its purpose will be to infiltrate the test facility and prevent the spread of the virus. For this to happen, Kyle is absolutely necessary.
Why?
And that is why he created him?
Yes.
So now that my consciousness has entered his body, the Doctor has achieved his objective. Kyle has gone back to 2028 to participate in his mission.
Correct.
There's one thing that troubles me. Kyle was created before reaching point B
Yes!
from point D.
He doesn't have a body to jump in!
That means his body did not exist on Christmas in 2028. Does that mean he has entered my body? Have we just switched places?
I suppose you could put it that way, yes.
That's ridiculous. What's going to happen to me? You telling me I have to spend the rest of my life here in this box, living in a borrowed body?
No, not at all. You can travel freely through time and space. You are an uncontrolled variable that entered our closed system.
Me?
As such, the rules of this world do not apply to you.
I have no idea what...
Please don't try to play dumb. I know what you are. Surely you must know by now, too. You are about to go into the past and save the world. Phi and Sigma, even with all of his future knowledge, will need your help. Only you can right the horrible wrongs of our past. Only you can save the world.
There's no way I...
Yes, there is. You have to. Don't you want to know the truth?
At this point, I'll take anything.
Don't you want to know what happened in between Christmas and New Year's Eve in 2028?
Yes!
Well, yes, I do, but...
Then you must believe. Reality is shaped by what we believe reality should be. If observation can change the motion of a particle,
my God!
Then how is it odd to think that human thought can shape reality?
Are we just gonna imagine a double slit and it's just gonna put us in the past?
Your will can change history.
Yeah!
The world will be reshaped into the one you imagine.
This is all horse shit! This is worse than anything else I've ever seen!
Remember what I've told you. Only you can change history.
Yeah!
Only you can save the world.
And... alternative end? A certain point of view. Caught a glimpse of another time. You found it. Gained all trophies. Okay, that's it. That's it. We're done. We're done. We're done. We're done. It's over. Fuck. Fuck. The Akane end. Got it. Cool. Good. Sweet. I swear to God.
Isn't that obvious?
Hi-fi. The only other routes here are bad endings. I think I'm gonna need a diagram to explain this alternate Sigma Kyle reality. Alright, let's see if I can figure this out. So, we got the note. Let's go into the archive, actually, because it should just be here. It was the file. It was the, Ah, here it was. Okay, so. Sigma becomes, gets kidnapped here by Akane, who sees the future, and sends us to here because of what happens. We get to point C, and then we get sent back to point D, where we live out the life and become Sigma. The Sigma in that paralogue had whatever had knowledge of everything except December 25th to 28th, right? Yes. Well, let's get there, okay? So, when young Sigma arrived, it kicked old Sigma out. and got us back here, December 28th, right? Now, there's a branch in history here. And we can't tell Kyle what happened here, otherwise it will change history. In this timeline, old Sigma fails. And then, at point D gets kicked out of his body and comes back here. In which case, 3 months have only passed for him, and he's back. Now, Kyle is super important for some reason. My guess is that at this point in the jump, something goes wrong, and a copy of Sigma's consciousness becomes added to Kyle's body here. And Kyle's mind gets sent back and occupies a new body that can end up being here and causing this. Because, but actually the jump does happen here. But like, why are they not telling him what's happening? Why are they saying that I'm about to go back to the past? Didn't Kyle just go back to the past? Or does he have no memory, so they can't send this Kyle back to the past? Is it because we send Kyle back to the past, but he's like still unconscious, so we have to go back to the past again and then retake the body at some point and use our knowledge to help Sigma, who also knows everything, to do... I don't know what the fuck is happening! I did it, though. I won. I beat Zero Escape. I've got all the achievements. Guess we'll find out next time on Zero Escape. Will we? I'm going to the store page right now, and I'm looking up Zero Time Dilemma. All right. Okay. About this game, the experiment wasn't supposed to be like this. 9 participants awaken in an underground facility imprisoned with a strange black bracelet on their wrists. To escape, they must play a game with deadly consequences. The rules are simple. After 6 people are killed, the escape hatch will open. Who will live and who will die? The choice is yours. Let the decision game begin. So, this does seem like Zero Time Dilemma is the Mars mission. The ride never ends. The ride never ends. It also mentions the recurring cast. Yes, so it will have Akane, because it has to have Akane, apparently. Will it have Junpei? I don't know. I don't know anything. Maybe the main character of Zero Time Dilemma is named Kyle, and you're just supposed to just ignore everything else. I don't know anymore. Did I not buy? I should have bought in Zero Time Dilemma when it was still on sale. Oh well. Oh, I can buy it as part of a bundle and I'll get it for cheaper. I bet you're gonna get Old Man Sigma in 22-year-old Sigma's body. I don't... I'm... like, I wanted to do this so that I could figure out answers. I don't know anything. I have to wait until I beat the next game? Thank you for the head pats. Okay. We're gonna take a break from Zero Escape for a couple weeks. I can't deal with it yet. I need to wait. It needs to. Ow. Gonna take a break from Zero Escape for a couple weeks. Got other things that I need to do. All right. Let's find someone to. Ow! Ah! Yeah, that's Zero Escape. Yep. Ow. I need to turn that down. Is Amber still alive? Can we raid Amber? Amber is still alive. Okay. We'll go raid Amber, and we'll go scream about how my brain hurts. It hurts every time. Like, okay, here's the thing, though. 999 hurt, but it was fine. It was bullshit, but I didn't think I needed to go play the next game right now to get answers about what happened in 999. It was just bullshit, and it was self-contained. This is no longer self-contained bullshit. It continues, it expands, and it's bullshit. Okay, we're gonna raid. And it's okay. It was mostly self-contained. The issue is, it ended. 999 ended. With some loose ends to keep you thinking. No, it ended. All the loose endings, all the loose threads from 999, all of them, every single one, was, like, fine. Like, they were little teases to be like, whoa, could it be? Is that possible? Yada, yada. It's not, who the fuck is in Kyle right now? Okay. Thank you all so much for coming. Hope you all have a good rest of your evenings. Hope you get some rest. And I will see you the next time that I'm out streaming. Bye. And let's say hi to Amber. Bye.